Well, Tennessee Titans fans, it would appear as though I owe some of you an apology. I do this Reddit segment every single week. I did one earlier this week, and I only saw one new post on the Two Tone Talk Reddit page, but apparently there are many more that I completely missed that did not show up for me for some reason. So I'm going to get to those today. This is on Reddit. This is the Two Tone Talk Reddit page. There's a link to it in the video description below. So if you've never joined that community, go over there, join, leave comments, memes, questions, whatever, and it will get featured on this segment next week. You have my word, even if I have to do 2 videos, because I only normally do this segment once a week, but this week got to do it twice because there were a bunch that I missed on my own page, such as this one. This user says, top free agent that we should get, with the question mark still lingering at so many positions. What free agents should we target to make the position less questionable? Tighten up, everyone, and tighten up to you too. I don't know if I would say there's any particular person that comes to mind, but the position that comes to mind is linebacker. I think that the Titans could definitely use some more depth and leadership at that linebacker, inside linebacker position, because Cedric Gray is there and he's a huge question mark. James Williams is there. He's a huge question mark. Even some of the free agents that they've picked up at that position this offseason are young guys who have only been in the league for a couple of years. So they've got a lot of young guys at that position, and that can be a good thing if some of them are really good, and now you've got young guys on your team that are talented. But outside of Cody Barton, there's not really any veteran leadership among that linebacker group. So I would like to see the Titans sign another linebacker at some point this summer, which the summer's starting to dwindle here. But I hope that they go out and land somebody. This user said, what is your favorite time of the NFL season? What is your favorite part of the year regarding the NFL? The offseason, the draft, week 1, regular season, playoffs, Super Bowl, just to name a few. Me personally, you cannot beat week 1. Your team comes out along with the other 31, and you have absolutely no idea what is going to happen. It's exhilarating to see the unexpected on week 1 across the league, and it makes you really like that the NFL is back. Playoffs and the draft are not far behind it as well. I mean, listen, I found the draft, I usually find draft season to be very fun, especially years like this where the Titans have the number 1 pick. That makes it even more fun, where you feel like you're probably going to take your franchise quarterback. That makes it more fun and more intriguing. Can't stop coughing. For me, I would say week 1 is just the best. I think that, you know, going to sleep on the Saturday night before opening NFL Sunday is like Christmas Eve as a kid to me. The gift you open the next day may end up being coal, but there's nothing like that excitement of waking up on that first Sunday. Now, I love the Thursday night game. When they have the first Thursday night game, I'm all about that. But that first Sunday when everybody's playing and the Titans are playing, because they never have the Thursday nighter, it is just so exciting. There's no words to describe it. If you are an NFL fan, no matter what team, you know that feeling of excitement. No matter how good you think your team's going to be, no matter how bad you think they may be, you are pumped whenever that first week rolls around, and there's just nothing like it. And especially for me now personally, having this podcast, having this channel, having this outlet to talk with you guys every week about whatever happens, it just adds a whole new level of excitement for me. So I'm just so pumped, especially this year with Cam Ward being the new guy. I don't even know what I will do. I don't know if I will be able to sleep the night before the season starts. I'm pumped enough for the preseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the preseason has got me fired up. This user right here says, hey, Brad, love your videos. I got a video for you to react to, and I will eventually get to that. And I do want to say I appreciate everybody that watches those. That started just on a whim. a little over a year ago, and now that's become a big part of this channel, is checking out what the media is saying about the Titans, giving my thoughts on their thoughts, and usually getting angry about it. And I'm open to any request that anybody wants to make. If you've got a request, if you've got a link to a video, you can post it on Reddit. You can go follow me on X at @twotone_podcast. You can go follow me over there. If you just heard a fart noise, it was this chair squeaking against the wall. That's what it was. And I will not let you accuse me of farting right here on this segment. But if you've got any suggestions of videos, bring it on. This user said, what nickname are we giving Cam Ward? Obviously, it's super early to be saying this, but what is the nickname we're going to give him if he succeeds? The ones I came up with are King Cam, Hurricane Ward, The Air, or The One. Do you guys have any other ideas, and what do you guys think? I think simple is best. I like The One. I like The Air. I'm good with either one of those because, no pun intended, either one of those, because I love that video that was put together back before the draft of Air McNair, H-E-I-R, the Air to McNair, pretty much. I love that. So Air One, I like that. I also like The One, and I hope that those nicknames are nicknames that are worth giving to him. That's the thing. You can use whatever nickname you want. I just want a quarterback of this team that plays in a way that is worthy and deserving of such a nickname. You feel me? This user said Kyle Pitts. I think that this would be an upgrade for the Titans. If the Titans trade Josh Whyle to the Falcons for Kyle Pitts, and after the trade we give Pitts a 2+1 contract since he can break out at any moment, the last year of that deal would be a team option. Well, the big problem there is zero chance that the Atlanta Falcons, let me take that down. There is zero chance that the Atlanta Falcons are going to trade Kyle Pitts straight up for Josh Whyle. That's just not going to happen. There's no tight end on the Titans roster that they are going to trade straight up for. I'm not saying that the Falcons would not trade Kyle Pitts for the right price, but if you think you're getting Kyle Pitts just for Josh Whyle, I think you got another thing coming. I think it would take Josh Whyle plus a lot. And I don't even think Josh Whyle would even be a key part of the trade. He would just be like a bonus. There ain't no way Kyle Pitts is getting traded to Tennessee for Josh Whyle. But I understand the intrigue among Kyle Pitts. I don't want to say fans, but people who still believe in him. Obviously, it has not worked out in Atlanta. He was a top 5 draft pick. He has not lived up to that yet. People are waiting on the breakout. I'm starting to wonder if the breakout is coming myself. This user said, James Cook. Do y'all think that we should trade for James Cook? If we get him, I think that our running back depth chart would be upgraded by this look. James Cook, Tony Pollard, Khalil Mullings, / Tyrion Davis Price. Well, where does Tyjae Spears fit into that? Because to me, I still think they want Tyjae Spears to be the future, to be the running back for the Tennessee Titans next year and the next year and the next year. I don't think the Titans would be itching to trade for James Cook or really any running back for that matter. I think they probably feel pretty set at the running back position. Tony Pollard played really well last year for them, and I think Tony Pollard can play really well for them again this year. And here's the big question among running backs. They're going to need Tyjae Spears to give us more than he gave us last year. 2 years ago, his rookie year, he showed a lot of promise. Last year, there were small flashes, but overall, it was a largely disappointing season for Tyjae Spears, mainly because he was hurt all the time. If you remember his health, that's the biggest question I have about Tyjae Spears. I don't really question his talent. I don't really question his speed or anything like that. It's his health, because he got hurt a lot last year. And so it makes you question, ideally you would love for Spears to kind of have an elevated role, and then maybe Tony Pollard kind of become that, at least taking half the snaps, which is what we thought last year was going to be. Pollard gets half the carries, Spears gets half the carries, but then Spears was hurt so much that it ended up being Pollard a lot. You don't need that for Pollard this year. He's another year older. He was banged up a little bit last year. You don't need Tony Pollard having to carry the weight of everything. So you need Tyjae Spears to get healthy. You need him to stay healthy. You don't need Spears in and out of the lineup all year like he was last year, because then more weight gets put on Tony Pollard. Now, with that being said, that has to be on the Titans' mind, is Spears' health and Pollard's age. I do think, they drafted Khalil Mullings. I think they do have high hopes for him. I just don't think the Titans are willing to go out right now and make a huge signing at running back or a huge trade for a running back, James Cook or anybody else, just because I think they probably like who they have. You've got a young guy in Spears. You've got a good veteran in Pollard. And if for whatever reason it comes off the tracks, you can always just go get a running back next year. I just don't think that's a pressing need. And we're ending with $1 million question. Brian Callahan, how many wins do you think Callie has to get to keep his job beyond this season? So this is a tough one, because I say this a lot. A lot of people in the media and on YouTube and podcasts say this a lot. The record doesn't matter as much for the Titans this year. It just matters that Cam Ward plays well. The Titans can win 4 or 5 games, but if Cam Ward plays well and is competitive, you feel good coming out of this season. And in that regard, that's true. But let me tell you who that doesn't work for, and that's Brian Callahan. The Titans cannot come out and have another dud of a season and him keep his job. For everybody else, for the Titans as a whole, you can say, okay, maybe even if the record isn't great, if these young guys are playing well, and if Cam Ward in particular is playing well, then everything's fine and everything is going as scheduled. Okay, but that won't work for Brian Callahan. He's coming off of a 3-14 rookie season where he was not very good. He did not do a great job. Growing pains, first time being a head coach, you have to learn. I get all of that, but Brian Callahan left a lot to be desired in year one. Coming into year two, if you have another one of those with your new franchise quarterback now, with a new GM and a new stadium coming in a couple of years, I don't think Brian Callahan can survive that. I don't think Brian Callahan can survive another 3-14 season. So I do think Brian Callahan could maybe survive 6-11, 7-10. Like, I think if you get to that kind of lower mid-range area, I think Brian Callahan is safe, because that shows improvement. If you go from being a 3-win team to being a 6-win team, that's better. You don't have to be a mathematician to know that's better. That's a better record, especially if the Titans are competitive in the games that they lose. Like if the Titans are able to, maybe they lose to the Rams, but they're super competitive. If they lose to the Chiefs, but they're super competitive and they're right there. Big problem with the Titans last year is that they weren't very competitive a lot of the time. The Bengals destroyed them. A lot of times the scoreboard didn't even tell the whole story, but the Bengals whooped the Titans. The Commanders whooped the Titans. The Lions whooped the Titans. The Packers beat the Titans like a drum. The Colts, the second time in Indianapolis, that's a game where the score ended up being close, but we all know what happened. The Titans, I think, were down 38-7 at one point in that game. They got smoked. Even the last game against Houston, when they were playing all their backups, I mean, we're getting up towards like half of their games they lost by multiple scores. So the Titans for much of last season weren't even competitive. And that's going to be a key for Brian Callahan. If he's going to keep his job, man, I'm talking about this a long time, but if Brian Callahan's going to keep his job, even if you're 6-11, if many of those 11 losses can at least be competitive, lose by 6, lose by 3, lose by 5. If you can do that, I think he's safe. He just needs to be a few games better than last year. If the team's better and Cam Ward's playing well, I think he'll be fine. But Brian Callahan cannot survive another 3 or 4 win season where they're getting smoked every week. Can't survive that. There are the Reddit posts that I missed a few days ago. Sorry about that. The Reddit page is in the video description below, the link to it, and you can Go over there and post and get your comment featured on here next week. Tighten up, everybody.